And continue to talk about Star Ocean Cecilia at a time. Going through the story and seeing what let's talk about different things like that. Because it's kind of important. Now, anyway, let's see here. Where were we? Alright. Went to Yakios. Oh, yeah. Went to Yakios. Had to go get copper out of those mines. Out of the mines with all the dragons in them. Okay, had a few issues with those dragons. Because there's actually a sort of a rush, a boss rush type of thing happening that happens in there. You're supposed to fight off groups. There's only like three back-to-back fights with these dragons. Okay, these annoying dragons. It's like three dragons each time, and if you're not ready, you guys could easily die. This would be like your first death very easily. So you gotta watch out for that. It's not fun. But anyway, after you do all that, finally beat the caught trace, all those other things like that, and then you basically get all the copper ready and are about to leave. Then the dragon brigade attacks again. You get out of the cave, the dragon brigade attacks again. So you send Tynaeve and Farlene, who you rescued from the Black Brigade earlier in the Kielce training facility. And, oh wait, no. Kielce training facility is your first maze. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because you have to go save Tynaeve and Farlene from the Kielce training facility. And that place is annoying. You gotta find the right place to go, the right doors, the right... it's weird. Douglas Forest is like second. But anyway, you finally get... But anyway, you finally get, you beat the Dragon Brigade, right? And then he has the leader of the Dragon Brigade, that dragon guy who, the leader, I think it was the leader of the Dragon Brigade, I don't know, but the leader of that group has his death scene and falls off the cliff. And it has this scene where he falls off the cliff, and then you are prompted to rest. Okay, so then you take the advice, rest. Then after you rest, you come back, you go back out, and go like, okay, let's go see how Tynaeve and Farlene are doing, getting the copper back to Aqueous. But then you see that the caravan has been stopped. Tynaeve and Farlene are on the ground, looking hurt like on Power Rangers, like the guys in Power Rangers to get hurt when after a huge explosion, and with Albel standing over the Albel is this dude that looks like a girl, but he's a dude, and he needs more clothes. Who also needs more clothes. And basically, you met him at the Kielce training facility after the captain and the acting leader guy, the guy that was being leader of his group, uh, took over for Albel while he was away on business. And basically, he's like, okay, he's the leader of the Albel's leader of the Black Brigade. There are three brigades. There are three brigades in the Star Ocean, in Aeroglyph of the army, Glyphian army. It's the Black Brigade, the Dragon Brigade, and the Storm Brigade. Mostly you deal with the Dragon Brigade and the Storm Brigade. But anyway, the Dragon Brigade and the Black Brigade. Okay, you fight the Black Brigade first, which is Black Knights. Are basic enemies, and then you fight the Dragon Brigade, which are more powerful versions of more powerful versions of enemies. They can fly and stuff and throw fire at you. It's definitely tougher stuff. But anyway, you defeat that guy that was acting captain of the Black Brigade. Then you meet Owl for the first time, and he's like, huh, it's like, I was like, oh, he's like, I'm gonna fight you too. You want to fight now? Like, fight you too? And I was like, no, this idea of kidnapping those two girls was not my idea. It was his. He's failed. He'll get the blame for it. I want you to leave. This whole idea was. I want you guys to leave here before I change my mind. Leave here before I change my mind. He's like, why you? It's like, I want to fight. He's like, easy victories have never been my style. He's like, so I was like, come on, guys. And Nell's like, come on, we got to get Tiny and Farlene back home. Back home. We're not trying to fight this guy. Come on. He's like, all right. So they leave. And eventually, this time you run into him again. You do have to fight him. And so you fight him, and when you win. He's a pretty tough guy. He has all kinds of cool attacks and everything. But you beat him. When you beat him, then it'll be like, all right, let's go. Fate will say, all right, let's go, guys. He's like, Albo's like on one knee, like, impossible. How can they defeat me? Then he's like, all right, guys, let's go. And then Cliff's like, hey, wait, do you want to finish this? Do you want to finish him off first? He's like, then Fate's like, in one of his best moments, he's like, just like he said, easy wins have never been my style. It's like, yeah, the Cliff's like, yeah, I guess you're right. Let's go. And it's like, so they leave. And I was like, so he's all annoyed with that. And then you get on with the story. You give them the copper, the boring old copper, not like exciting as energy stone. You give them that stuff, and then let's see here. Oh yeah, I think you find Maria. No, Maria. Amina has somehow got to Aquos. I think, yeah. So she's got to Aquos, walked to Aquos, and collapsed. And Mirage, she find out that she's hanging out with, that she felt collapsed, but Mirage found her. And finally, you see Mirage again. You're like, oh my goodness, Mirage, what are you doing? No one really knows. Other than try to communicate with their boss, who should not be the boss. And they're basically, you get her in bed, and she's like, definitely, fading, definitely not doing so well. And then you find out that Dion is is her friend, is the friend she was looking for. So you basically go and talk to, and basically, then after, you basically, Airglyph now knows that you're trying to work on this weapon. So basically, they send, they're launching now. They're going out. They're gonna go, at the front lines now. They're gonna go and start attacking. Arceus, and trying to attack Arceus and get over Arceus. So now everybody has to go to the front lines. So everybody's preparing to go to the front lines, and then Fate tells Dion what's going on, that Amina has come to see him. She's like, what? So he goes, meets her, says like, oh, I guess Amina. It's pretty touching and awesome. Pretty touching and awesome, and sad because of course Fate's like, this girl, sort of like my girlfriend, but she's with another guy. It's kind of wrong, and then it's like, but then you basically walk off the front, it's time to go to the front lines, right? But before you do, Nell drops a huge, nugget, gives this big old, this huge piece of information that makes you annoyed at her and the people who made the game. She says, well, you're gonna have to help us fight these guys off, or we're gonna lose. Yeah, sorry, I never thought I had to involve you so much in this war. And I'm like, when I saw that, as you probably may have heard on my Let's Play, I was like, bull crap. You said you will help us make this weapon to end the war, or we will kill you. So it's like kind of crap that they were like thinking, no, as he said this, it's just not fun. And then, there's some bull crap moments, because there's like, okay. Later, you're like, okay, we could actually, the medical facility, this girl has no hope, Amina has no hope of survival, unless, of course, we can get her to our ship, but the ship is being heavily guarded by a bunch of aerial soldiers, and I'm like, okay, why don't you just beat them up? He's like, well, we're not guys, we can't beat up 10, kill 10 people to save the life of one person. I'm like, why not? You beat up a bunch of people before. You beat them up to save 2 people's lives. Come on. So it's really sad. But Amina meets Dion, and they get they basically are like, don't worry, Amina, stay on the lines. I'm gonna go to the front lines and fight off these Glyphians, and then come back. We'll talk some more about everything. So it's like, okay. So we go to the front lines where they actually already have other weapons set up. All right. And they're using, I know they're not that powerful, I guess. They're using iron wire or whatever. I don't know what they're using, but still, they're using that, and it's like, okay, whatever. And so that basically lowers the amount of interest your weapon has, because basically the weapon that is being worked on with your new copper wire is not finished yet. So you don't get to use it then, which is annoying as all get out. All right, you do get to use it later, and it's even more annoying. But anyway. So you're basically, you go to the front lines, you have a few battles, and then, at the end of this battle with Duke Vox, Duke Vox is leader of the Dragon Brigade, okay? So he's on his dragon, which is like super special, awesome dragon, who can do this attack called Steel Rend, which basically means, you can tear through steel. It's pretty cool. Attack that can tear through steel. So basically, it's pretty cool. And then after you win in battle against him, he's like, haha, he's still going like, you're pretty good. But once they had to really work for victory, all of a sudden a photon torpedo comes out of basically a photon torpedo comes out of the sky and blows him up, and then you see a Veneti cruise ship come down. And so the Ventini are back. The plot has returned after hours and hours of nothing. Well, not nothing, but there were side quest missions and stuff. And you're like, oh, okay, this is awesome, and then it's like, Fate is like, and then Cliff's like, come on, Fate, you gotta get out of here, you'll be captured. He's like, wait a minute, I'll be captured. Is that's what the Veneti want? This is some of Fate's best moments too. Is that what the Veneti want? Is that why they attacked Haida 4, or the vacation planet? Is that why they attacked my ship, the ship we were on? Yeah, it was all because of me. I was like, oh, like, well, it was like, so I think it was like, well, say, oh, no, I'm like, why did so many, like, why did so many people like, almost die for me? No, what is this about? You know, nah. And then he like for the first time shoots out what I call his emo laser, which is basically this giant, this circle of energy appears over his face, and a giant laser beam flies out. And actually, it turns out it's an angel shooting a giant laser beam. It's an angel made of energy shooting a giant laser beam. A giant laser beam goes over, hits the mini cruise ship, and disintegrates it. And disintegrates it, and it's like, and then he falls, and then he or turns into feathers, and then he falls over unconscious, and then the Venini, falls over unconscious, and then like because that's facing all the the stuff happening. The Venini are shooting at everybody. Basically everybody's shooting at the Venini. The Venini are shooting at everybody. It's pretty crazy stuff. And basically the secret's out. Aliens from other planets exist, and so it's weird stuff. You kind of mess things up pretty bad for that. Yeah. So it's just weird stuff. And so anyway, after that, I haven't got much past. Oh yeah. So Dion, of course, got hit, blown up. He got hit pretty bad by a blast from the Vendini, and so he's dying. And then he says, "Well, you can see Sophia one last time, so you have to help Sophia get over. You get Sophia over to Dion to talk to him." Also, of course, Mirage, who is again from a race of people like Captain America, faster and stronger than a normal human being, and Cliff has talked about her fighting prowess for a while. She's not playable right now. She's not playable until disc 2. Okay, she decides to stay with Amina because it's like, okay, let me see what's more important for someone who can punch monsters in the face really good. To stay with someone who's basically dying, or stay with someone, or go and help us punch things in the face so we don't die. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. Weird decision. So then, after that, Amina gets over there, and they talk. They have their final talk. Dion's like, "I'm glad I was able to see you one last time." Show and like shows her that he's been working on a wishing charm too. And he's like, "Oh, where are you?" And I was like, "No, we'll be together forever." And I was like, I don't know exactly like that. It was like that, but she's like, saying stuff. He says stuff, and then finally he dies. And it's like, oh, well, I was like, oh, well, he's dead. That sucks. Girl that looks like my girlfriend. Hey, why we talk about that over drinks? Just hang out. I can give you. You need a shoulder crown. I got you covered, girl. Come on, Then you see her kneeling over, hunched over the bed, right? And it's like, oh, I was like, oh, she's really sad about this. Oh my goodness, she's so sad about his death. Oh, come on, girl. Come on, girl. It's okay. We can, we'll get over it together. Come on. And then it turns out she died. It turns out kneeling, so not to, they basically, Mirage said, okay, you can't, make sure you don't, you don't exert yourself too much, girl. That'd be bad for you. And so basically, I guess, walking from one place to another and then kneeling and talking to someone was too exerting for her, so she died. So it was one of the silliest deaths ever, in my opinion, because it's like, I'm like, oh no! And then face like no. I'm like, oh no, he's gonna blow a hole in the roof. No, so yeah. Then you get then it's like, all right, well, let's go and figure something out. We need something to figure out. But then we need to figure out how to stop these guys. These guys are now gonna mess around, do stuff. We need to figure this thing out. And then more side quests come. They're after this thing called the Sacred Orb, which is basically, the Venini are after this thing called the Sacred Orb, which basically is this thing that makes water. It's some sort of weird glitch in the Matrix or whatever. And it makes water, and it's really powerful, and it's like, something that the Sacred Orb, they worship that thing. It's some sort of very high technology, a technological artifact or whatever. So if we need to get their hands on it, then they'll get more power. So we don't want that. So now we're gonna, instead of trying to get out of here, the main mission of getting out of here and going to save Fate's dad, we are now on this mission to mess around and stop the Venini from getting the Sacred Orb. So we have to go through 2 more dungeons two more annoying dungeons. These dungeons are some of the most annoying. Well, actually, not the most annoying, but they're pretty annoying. You got to go through. You basically have to go through the sealed cavern, which is inside the chapel of what's it called? Of the Church of Apris. You gotta go inside the sealed cavern, and you have the generic rock and R&B music hanging out there. You go in there. Uh, you go in there. You go in there, run around and beat up enemies and get past blocks and flip switches and stuff to get to the end and blow. I didn't know there's really any holes you make. You don't make many holes because also you get these disintegration hammers. They're disintegration hammers that you get that are just out of nowhere. They were never, there was no foreshadowing of these things. But it's like, oh yeah, here it has a disintegration hammer just because. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So you go there and you use them. They're basically like the disintegration ring, but before you get the disintegration ring. So yeah, it's really kind of interesting how that works. And I'll see you next time on the next episode of Hero Collector Star Ocean Italian Time Talk. Check me out on YouTube and DeviantArt, especially my Hero Force Neo on DeviantArt and my Super Mario World on YouTube.com.